And now on Radio 4, the Bee presents the cast of If It's Wednesday, Then It Must Be. Kenny Everett, Kenneth Robinson, Viv Stanchel, Monty Muddlin. So don't touch your radio dial. Just pull up a cuppa and smile. And now, If It's Wednesday presents Would You Credit It? Radio Luxembourg, your station on the stairs, sent out a press release last week stating that they would interrupt the non-stop pop records to bring their eager listeners the move-by-move results of the Fischer v. Spassky chess game. Folks, this by special arrangement, they say, with the Icelandic Chess Federation. This means that not only will the teeny boppers be able to groove to T-Rex and Goldie and the Gingerbreads, but they'll also be able to take part in a chess game as they groove. Hi, titchy bopperinis and all you groovy way out guys, gals, and groovers. Time out now to take in a too much far-out soul. T-Rex, right on. Hot rock, shake that thing too much. Can you dig it? Sing one time for me. You do, don't come back, I love you. We interrupt this record to bring you play-by-play results direct from the playing hall Reykjavik. Spassky has taken Fischer's knight, but Fischer is counterattacking by going for Spassky's pawn. That result was brought to you by... It's new. It's psychedelic. Try Alice D's Brain Softener. Yeah. Is life getting you down? Take Alice D and be the envy of your friends.
And now back to the man who brings out the mother-in-law in everybody, Kenny Everett.
Thank you, Kenneth. What a lovely man he is. You'd never know. Ladies and gentlemen, do you remember years ago when the Light programme, as it was then, used to open on Mondays like this? God bless it. And on Tuesdays like this. In fact, they had two signature tunes, and they used to alternate the two. I used to get up with my VHF set every morning to listen to that tune. Oh, I was a keen BBC fan in those days. I still wake up screaming Sylvia Peters for Pope. Well, I decided the other day to dig down in the bowels of the Beeb and pick up some old programmes that you might like to hear again. I went down and saw if I could find the first episode of The Archers, but I'm afraid it's lost for posterity. Still, I did manage to find episode 302, which was recorded the 11th of the 3rd, 1952, and surprisingly enough, it hasn't changed to this day. Listen.
So here I am reporting for duty.
What, dressed like that?
Oh, what's wrong?
Oh, nothing, you look marvellous. The slacks are smashing and the sweater's just the job, but they're far too good for working clothes.
The slacks are smashing and the sweater's just the job. I also dug up something that I knew you'd go mental about. Journey into Space. Do you remember Journey into Space? Do you remember how he used to sit every Monday night, glued to the radio, as Charles Chiltern would pour eeriness into our ear holes? Well, I dug up a dusty old 78 called Journey into Space, episode 18, recorded in 1954.
Okay, Jet.
Okay.
Okay.
Cut the stern teleview, Lemmy. Switch on forward view.
Teleview forward view on.
There she is, the Earth, directly ahead. You said that, Mitch, as though you hadn't seen it in years.
I feel like I haven't.
But you saw it not 50 minutes ago, just before we took off from the moon. Position, Lemmy.
Coming into center. 5 degrees.
Doc, stabilizer.
Stabilizer. 4 degrees.
Mitch, motor. Oh, wait a minute. Huh? What's the matter?
Well, the fuel. There's hardly any left.
What?
But you said there was plenty. Oodles of it, you said. Well, there's not now. Something's wrong. We've lost it somewhere.
3 degrees.
We must have used up much more than you thought.
But we couldn't have done not on a moon takeoff. We shouldn't have used half of it.
2 degrees.
Have we got enough to set us on course for Earth?
Just about, but no more.
Stand by to switch in motor.
All right. Standing by.
1 degree.
Contact!
Sheer magic. Stored in the same brain compartments as Eagle Magazine, Film Fun, Mary Malcolm, Whirligig, and Muffin the Mule. The true essence of British wireless. Beat that, Tony Blackburn.
Oh, thank you, Kenny. And now we're lucky to have our very own biped in the studio, Kenny Everett, to play us out of a programme that brought you Vivian Stanshall, Ron Geeson, Benny Green, and me, Kenneth Robinson, looking forward to being here again next week. Goodbye for now.
That was not a bad little radio program, actually. Oh, yes. Featuring warm-hearted human beings. Oh, yes. Working their guts out for peanuts. Oh, yes. Don't forget, happiness is if it's Wednesday. And now, dear listener, listener, dear, don't forget to tune your wireless set this way. Same time next week, be of good cheer. Listener, dear, lend us your ear. A lot of people out there have said they can stand another chapter. Just. So here we go with Chapter 5 of The Adventures of Rock Salmon, in which Salmon gets a pasting. Ted Heath is in mortal danger. While he does unusual things with his plastic duck, Loongland is preparing to strike. Rock Salmon, in his guise as the master accountant, is speeding towards Ghoul with Aubrey in tow. Salmon's extremities are twitching, a sure sign of impending danger. Now, nod off.
Nod off yourself.
I beg your pardon?
I'm telling me to
Now
nod
look
off.
Fellas, scene 2, please.
Rock and Aubrey in flight. Scene 2, take 1.
Aubrey?
Yes?
What's that down there?
It's Ghoul, sweetie.
Really?
Yes.
What's Ghoul like as a whole?
As a whole, it's great. As a town, it stinks.
Look! Down there! What? Jumping Gerbils!
What?
It can't be!
But it is.
Loongland! Quick, let's take a look-see. As Rock and Aubrey plummet to the ground and find themselves in front of an imposing door, on which are some brass nameplates.
Quick, Aubrey, I think this is the door.
Yes, let's see now. Dr. Boris Bad Enough, Neuropath. Dr. Vladimir Impossible, Homeopath. Dr. Seamus O. Calcutta, Osteopath. Dr. Malachi Loongland, Psychopath. That's him!
Yes.
I wonder what the evil genius is up to this time. What sinister things are brewing behind that door. Meanwhile, behind the door... Leg iron!
Yes.
Have you made that tea yet?
Yeah, here it is.
Good. I always say there's nothing like a nice cup of tea. What I always say is, I like a nice cup of tea in the morning. Because I know that after a day's slaving over a hot turntable, there's just nothing so as a nice cup of tea.
Quite so.
That was the sound of me putting my fist down, because this serial's going too far, isn't it, Ken?
Absolutely.
Absolutely mad.
Oh,
so what
my
we're going to
God.
do is give it a break and play a record and hope that it goes away.
It's time now for our weekly cliffhanger with Kenny Everett.
And now, Radio 4 brings you your very own breakfast cereal, Rock Salmon, Part 6, The Iron Mongreller's Lawnmower. Rock is held prisoner by the malodorous, stenching, fiendish, swineling, pig-swill-faced, Loongland. The dastardly doctor's schemes are about to succeed. Britain trembles on the brink of a catastrophe. Through the miracle of sound effects, we transport you to a dungeon in Ghoul. Gee, Rock.
What?
We just gotta get out of here.
Don't worry, Aubrey. I've got an idea.
Listen. How can Rock get them out of the impenetrable steel cage? Well, we haven't time to explain. Suffice it to say, with one bound, they were free. There. It takes more than steel bars to hold the master accountant. Yeah. Quick, Aubrey. What? We must stop Loongland.
Not so fast, my friend. Loon, you underestimate me. Leg iron, wrap them in this aluminium baking roll.
Curses foiled.
Now, put Salmon on the table, strap him down, and turn on the circular saw. This'll cut you down to size.
Rock is helpless. He watches in horror as the saw moves closer and closer. No! Its wicked glinting blade approaching his legs, ready to bite deep into his flesh. Loongland cackles in maniacal delight.
Salmon, you're just half the man you were. But what's this? There's some writing on the inside of his leg. What does it say? Suffering psychopaths, Brighton. What's the meaning of this?
Didn't you know, Loongland? Rock is lettered all the way through.
Is this some kind of a joke?
Well, we just did it for a laugh.
Well, two can play at that game. Leg iron, dismember Salmon's arms.
You swine! You wouldn't!
Yes, we'll make sure that the master accountant is quite armless.
That was fantastic! Has Rock gone to pieces? If he pulls himself together, will he be a self-made man? How long can you stand this rubbish? Try to miss next week's Ordeal. That program had a weekend. A London weekend.
On wings of song I'll bear dear to far and distant lands. We sing a flute and heard oh, on my hand. Oh, harms and flutes and befallen. What happened to the band?
Haven't you heard? It's 9:35 and time for Everett's Wednesday. Yes, friends, an entirely new concept in radio programmery, thrusting forward through the barriers of fun into a whole new world of wit and wonder, a heavenly cataclysm of fabulousness. But I'm much too modest. Let Kenneth Robinson put it his way.
And that was Kenny Everett, a man who has a lot to be modest about. Also in the programme today, we have Ron Geeson, Benny Green talking about Jack the Ripper, and Vivian Stanshall with sad songs about mothers. This, we hope, will keep your minds alert and ready for this afternoon's Woman's Hour with its special feature on the Bugden family and what they think about life in Basingstoke. To begin now, Kenny, I'm afraid, has had an entirely original idea.
Just before I recorded the intro for this programme, I was fiddling about with one of my tape recorders, and while I was in the process of waiting for an idea to strike, and while one of the tape recorders was actually recording, I hiccuped. It was quite a normal British hiccup, an everyday, upstanding, average hiccup. Let me play it to you. You see? And again, a bona fide British hiccup. But wait, let's have an action replay. Not quite a hiccup, more of a... And then I thought, it's the same with sneezing. We don't go, a tissue. We go, well, I do. So where did words like a tissue, a hem, and hiccup come from? To find out, I rang Sir Augustus Crashing Bore at the Ministry of Health, and he said...
Crashing Bore here. I'm terribly sorry, but I can't come to the phone today as I've got a terrible cold.
Oh, I am sorry.
Yes, and it's absolutely impossible to talk. It's like a tissue.
Oh.
A tissue. Oh, dear, please forgive me.
Oh, of course,
Cough, 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 cough. Actually, I think I'm in for a dose of whooping cough.
Really?
As I hooped at breakfast this morning.
Oh, how awful.
Yes. Knock, knock. Oh, dear, I must go. Somebody's knocking on the door.